Michael Haddad on. I'm so excited for you guys to meet him if you don't already know him.
Hello.
Michael, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So happy you're here.
What's happening?
Oh my gosh. Quick little background story. Michael and I went to college together at SMS at the time, now Missouri State, and had an absolute blast. It's so funny because I'm not from St. Louis, as you know, and now coming back and living here and seeing all these people from SMS and Missouri State, I love it.
Yeah, a lot of people from St. Louis stick around, but it's funny. I was actually talking to my wife about this and how I'm doing this today. I'm like, I don't think I would have graduated college without Kira being around. We were in like all these random classes together and migrated towards each other, and we just help each other out. But we're also involved in a lot of the other stuff and going to church together too. I remember that. And doing like IFC and Pinnalytic and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, we were involved in all sorts of stuff. So it's so fun to reconnect and meet your wife and your children.
Who would have thought we would have turned out to be successful citizens after what happened in college?
Sorry, Mom and Dad. Thank you for paying for college.
We turned out all right.
We turned out okay, right? So I have you on today to talk about your family business and kind of the journey, I guess, post-college, let's say, to get to where you are today. So can you tell us a little bit about who you are and your family? And
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. First of all, I'm honored. It's been great to kind of reconnect after everything that's happened lately and have you in the store too. So I'm glad that we're doing this. But so believe it or not, in college, out of college, I should say, I got like my dream job. I was an international business major, minored in Spanish, and my dream was to be an expat. So I wanted to work for a U.S. firm outside of America, get paid in U.S. bucks, and do that till I was 30 and come home and settle down. And then I got my, I wouldn't say dream job, but I got what I wanted to do. I was going to work for Frito-Lay and work in St. Louis for like Walmart accounts and Quick Trip or something. And then 1 year later, I'd be shipped off to Ecuador, which is where I studied abroad, and be like a managerial role in some factory in Ecuador. So I was pumped. And then I'm not the type to sit still. Like this contract was going to start, I want to say in August or something. So I had a few months to mess around in St. Louis. My dad picked up on that and was like, hey, like come hang out around the store if you would like. And then at that time, my aunt was kind of his right hand. And her husband, my uncle, works for the Pentagon. Well, his like pension doubled or something if they moved back to DC. So I was like, go back home. So then at the same time, she ended up needing to leave and go back to DC. So then he actually needed the help. And then we were a very small mom and pop located in the same like 1400 block of Manchester for now 46 years. So now we're not in that same location, but when I went down there, it was in a shopping center with the Deerbergs. And I just fell in love with it. Just that simple. I was just like, this is definitely what I want to do. It never was really something I got into in high school or as a kid. Like I would go clean the glass and hang out, and then it's the family business after all. So at the end of the day, like my kids are still running around the store to this day. But that being said, my youngest brother, Alex, he was the one that like loved working with his hands and like really had a passion for the industry from day one. I didn't pick up on it until after college, and the timing was right. I will never forget my dad, because I knew what I was going to get paid by Frito-Lay. So I'm like, look, if I do this, then I still get the international layer to my life, because diamonds and every stone comes from different parts of the world. So you can take a business trip to Colombia for emeralds, or Italy for gold, or anything. Everywhere produces something in some capacity. So that part was checked off the box. But then I'm like, financially, what are you going to pay me?
Right.
And he's like, pay you nothing. He's like, I have your mother and your brothers and the houses. And he's like, you grow as a business, you can take some of that, And I'm like, that was the right thing to say to me, because it motivated me. I don't know if he planned that or not, but in general, it worked. And so my job was to simply grow the business. And that is what I'm good at doing. So it was a natural fit for me. It's worked. And now we have grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And there's big, beautiful, fancy store, awesome showroom. We actually got fastest growing jewelry store in all of America in 2021.
Wow.
Which is big ups to my brother, Anthony Haddad. He runs a digital agency called Yummy Image Media, which now pretty much caters a lot to jewelry stores. He's seen what we go through in our industry and how difficult it is to navigate through campaigns and making a website look beautiful and all that. But his team's just bulletproof and amazing. I'll send them to other jewelry stores as long as they're not like touching Missouri, because
that makes sense.
Works that good. Big. It's a family business, but it's also all the people in my family happen to fill the gaps that our industry needs to succeed. So Alex, for many years, was in charge of our books and managing the bench. I was always in charge of growth, and Anthony was in charge of all the marketing campaigns and stuff. So the three like major pillars were always done within our family and still
within you and your brothers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, and I want to stop here. The name of the business is the Diamon Family. They're off of Manchester, and is it in Baldwin? What is the city it's in?
It's technically Manchester, but I just tell people the Manchester Baldwin area, right by 141 in Manchester.
And it is a big, beautiful store. I got my wedding ring redone. Now it's my widow ring, and I love it.
Yeah, it's tough not to like that one.
It's tough not to like it, but
awesome.
You know, it's the diamonds that Kyle got me, and now I can still wear them, you know, and remember him every time I look at it. But I do want to stop here and go back to, you had a clear idea of what you wanted to do, right? You wanted to travel internationally. Mm-hmm. Like, and so for those of you watching, you know, sometimes I bring these successful people on and people are like, well, you know, of course it's a family business, or of course she's successful because of this, but it took a lot of hard work and you had a clear goal. It's like God placed this within your reach, but you knew what you wanted to do. You got your education, you got a job. So I just want to make sure to clarify that. And maybe you can talk about, Mike, some of the challenges that you went through. It wasn't just a smooth transition to where you are today, right? Like, no, I remember calling you.
It's still not smooth today. It's always something, but that's just part of the game of being an entrepreneur. I really, truly believe that your income and your success is directly related to how much stress you can handle. So I'm really good at handling stress because that's all I do. I mean, there's all these different questions that come at you every day. The nature of my business is extremely detail oriented. One thing goes wrong, you're remaking that ring. And so listening is a very important thing. Deadlines are important. Well, you cannot miss deadlines, or there goes that guy's proposal. If it's not there on the altar that day, that's a big problem. So you just can't make errors. So that in itself just adds a lot of stress, but now I'm just so used to it that when things are going smoothly, I'm like, what am I missing today? Like, what is going wrong? And now I've got this amazing staff, amazing consultant who is teaching me how to delegate. And I'm just a guy, like on my casket, it should say, this dude gets stuff done. Like, I just get stuff done. So learning how to delegate is a problem for me. So now it's finally into cruise control where a lot of the pieces are in place, the staff is there, and now it's just continuing to fine tune everything that we do and just be the best level of service that we can get in our industry.
Totally. But it wasn't easy. I remember, so for those of you that don't know, I lived in California in my 20s. I remember calling Mike and you telling me about the wild things that were happening with your store. Robbery. I mean, and maybe you're not comfortable talking about this stuff or putting it out there, but I know that there were a lot of big challenges.
Yeah.
So can you share with us some things you've overcome?
I can touch on like 90% of that. Absolutely. So unfortunately, our industry is plagued with crime and theft. We have stuff that other people want. It's very small and it's valuable. So jewelers in general, I don't want to say it's like a police officer where like you're signing up for it type of thing, but there is a certain dynamic that you need to know. Like we talk about that during interviews and stuff. Like you have to know that there are active shooter scenarios. There is theft. You know, I'm a big man of faith. So I pray about that every morning. Underneath our vault is literally the picture of the Virgin Mary. There's a cross down underneath it. There's a 100,000 pound vault gets put on top of this. I had the church, the place blessed by 2 priests, just in case Catholic guy didn't do it. I got the Orthodox one too.
Gotta cover all the bases.
Yeah, it takes a village after all.
Totally.
But there's a gang called the Pink Panther gang, and it is a global operation. It's pretty much a family-run gang that just robs jewelry stores. So it's like literally the parents teach their kids how to do it. And they are very good at what they do. It is their life. So they got us in my junior year of high school. They got us in a much smaller store, but came through the wall.
Came through the wall?
Yeah, this actually...
I think this is what you told...
Yeah, this just happened to another place in town too. But basically... they case your business and they know exactly where your weak points are. And then they come, but end of the day, they got everything in 2001. I was a junior in high school. And then, luckily it's not at night. So you're not or it's not in the daytime. It's not necessarily jeopardizing your life. It's jeopardizing your well-being and everything, but there's not human life at risk when they do it at night. So the times it's happened to us, thank God it's been at night. You navigate through your insurance claim and you replace it and you explain to your customers what happened. My dad is like the sweetest most generous, loving business owner / human being you'll ever meet in your life. His whole life is like, how do I give today? And it just is the fabric of his existence. So nobody, out of all the things that happened and that were stolen, nobody sued him for anything. And he like, if you could provide a picture of what you had, because your merchandise, your jewelry that was being repaired got stolen too. It was all rebuilt and remade if you could provide a picture of it. And then if not, you'd have to go through, how to pay you back based on old appraisals or anything. But end of the day, he rebuilt, and then we started a new store a few years later. And then that's the store when I got out of college that was existing. It was only a block down the street from the old one. And then in that store, it was December 21st of 2013. So it's like fast forward 10, 12 years. And I had just moved into a condo. No, I just bought a car, and I was living at this condo in Clayton or in Creve Coeur. And I get the phone call at like 2 a.m. that you need to be at the jewelry store. But the phone call came from the police. So it's freezing cold too. So I literally got my pistol and ran out of the home, and I realized I didn't have pants on. So I ran back in and put pants on, had underwear on, and I was flying down 141 in this new Range Rover I had got. And then the next thing you know, I'm like, why would the police call? The alarm company is always supposed to call. Like that's the protocol. And then they dispatch the police based on what I tell them. So for the police to call, I'm like, maybe I'm being set up here. Like maybe I'm going to get there, gun to the head. Let's open up the safe. So I kind of went around this other way, but then I saw helicopters, and I'm passing police going 120 miles an hour. They're not pulling me over. So I'm like, something is not right.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And then I got there, there's 75 federal agents in front of the building. SWAT team. It was crazy. So like they verify who I am, tell us what happened. But end of the day, we were a target of the same Pink Panther gang that came back, and by the grace of God, the feds were waiting for them. So whatever happened the first time, we have now this relationship with them, and
they knew they were coming.
Yeah. So they like basically took them down in our store and ended like a whole international crime spree. And then I had to move into like, I wouldn't say it like witness protection, but kind of like that. Like I had to go testify against them and like be in this hotel with all these people around me and get trained on what to say. And then I had to move my house because then they knew where I had lived, and they would follow me for months planning this. So I had to go into like a secure building to where I had the key fob to get in, and it was interesting. But they're all locked up. They got maximum sentences, and then
you are kidding me.
Yeah, now they're all probably back, but they're deported as soon as they get out of prison, and then they figure out a way to get back in. So it's just a relevant part of the game. At the end of the day, we pray that it happens at night, and if it is going to happen. And what's cool about ours is that now, since that occurred, I was willing to. My biggest fear was like, look, if I go testify against these people, then they already know who I am. I'm going to be sitting right in front of them and their families. And the district attorney was like, look, if everybody thought like that, we could never put people in prison. Like if there's a murder case, somebody has to go and testify. So it's kind of your civic duty. But at the end of the day, I'm like, civic duty only goes so far. Like one day I'm going to have a wife and kids, guys. Like, I'm sorry, but I have to have peace of mind that I'm going to be safe.
Right.
And that my business isn't now even more of a target. So it ended up being the opposite. Now that happened in our business, that particular gang, I think, would be the last place that would ever come back would be us, because now they know that we have that relationship and that we have a little extra attention. End of the day, the store is built with safety and security in mind. So we picked that building for a reason. It's in a specific area, and the way to enter is conducive to safety. The way the cases are built is conducive to reducing theft. And end of the day, what's cool too is we don't really have a theft issue ever in our store. It's like these massive problems or nothing at all, So we don't have like stolen merchandise or staff stealing or any the customers or anything like that. At least that I know for a long time.
Oh my gosh, my heart is beating so fast right now.
It's a trip. So basically having proper training is important to us. Every morning we talk about that and what the protocols are and what to do if, God forbid, the worst case happens. And then what else? Then, you just get very close with your local police and fire department and be friends with them, which doesn't hurt anybody. They're all great people. And so I'm like, look, I don't care if you got to go take a piss, come into my store and do it on your food if you have to. Come have a cup of coffee, anything, just be around as much as you can. And that's paid dividends for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I remember you telling me this, and like my mind was blown. And here I am hearing it again, and it's still, there are so many crazy details about it. It's like the affidavit was this big. It was nuts what actually happened before they got to us, and how they pick us and all that is crazy. Right. So it hasn't been an easy road, and it really isn't ever most of the time. right?
No, I mean, I think anything worth having is not easy.
Correct.
If everyone would do it then. So what you put into it is what you get out of it, 100, just like anything else in your life. But yeah, I guess the only other, not only, but one of the main obstacles was being a family business. I mean, once you get out of college and then you're thrown right into the business world, it was really hard for me and my dad to work together. I'm a younger generation. I want things to go this way, and I'm in charge of growth. So let me grow the place the way I want to do it. My dad is absolutely an amazing jeweler, great with his hands, and can like see things totally different. I'm not like an artistic guy. If you say make this ring, I can do that. But if you say here's a bunch of 30 millimeter stones or 31.5 millimeters and an 8 millimeter round center stone, Alex, my brother, is great at that. My dad is good at that. I'm not. So,
everyone has their strengths.
Yeah, learning your strengths and weaknesses, and then the sensitivity of how to say things. At the end of the day, you're going home together at that point too. So I moved back in with my parents for 2 years after college until I got my first home. So you don't want those things carrying back into your house. And my mom, God bless her, she's like the patriarch. Like in our family, she has this little saying that your father is the head of the household, but I am the neck, and I will turn it any which way it needs to go. So
I love that.
Yeah, so she is, which really works. That's how my family, or me and my wife are too. Like she's just awesome at helping me navigate through the things and learning how my behavior is and how much stress I handle. So if you're not aware of who you're dealing with, you're not really valid in the conversation, or as valuable as you could be. So, so I'd have little side talks with my mom about, how do I say the certain things and how do I get my way? Because this is what I truly believe is the right thing for our business and for the future. And I just want to keep growing it so that it can provide for our family and keep his legacy going for decades and generations to come, I hope. Just the regular, if you're going to get into a family business, know that there's a lot of emotions that goes into it, not just the finances and the bread and butter stuff that any business has to do to operate. And then obviously the theft and the nature of the business in general, but other than that, retail for my industry is very demanding. It's so you really have to love people because the hours can really get to you. December, we don't stop. Like, it's 24 hours a day. The phone doesn't stop. The emails don't stop. That's non-stop from every angle. And it's our time to shine. That's the Super Bowl. So you don't really get to see your family much during December.
That's what I was going to ask, how you maintain that work-life balance, being the head of the family business, and you're married to Erica now, and you have 2 sweet babies. Yeah.
What I've learned is I'm a little late in the game in learning this, but having a good team. So in any industry, but mine in particular, being behind the counter for me means a lot. That means you're part of the family. Now you're going to learn all these different things that we know and that we trust you with. And once you get those keys, you have access to all that stuff. So hiring the right people has been luck for me. I had no methodical way of doing this, honestly, but I just am a good judge of character, and every single person, I'm so proud to say this, we don't have turnover. Like, I haven't fired somebody in God knows how long, and nobody has quit. If it is, it's like we'll find out in 30 minutes type of thing. Like, it's not a good fit or something, and no hard feelings. But I don't remember the last time that happened. So we have a 0% turnover, which is a real cool thing for me, because I know that organically I'm treating them as human beings, and they're not just staff. Like, it's a true team. They're true family members to me. Something happens, I get that phone call. Your kid's sick. I'm going to go to the hospital. Like, that's the way it's always been. That's the way my dad was. So I don't really know anything different, essentially. But now I've done a really bad job at delegating and empowering them over the years. And now I'm learning how to do that. Because I'm just a workhorse. So it's like, if you were to say, do something, I don't put it in my calendar. I do it right now. And then it's over, right? I won't remember. Now I've used to learn that calendar a lot better and start delegating, and it's going great. So adjusting the hours happened recently to where now I have a day where I can go into the store and work completely undisturbed, where that phone is not ringing. There is 500 emails I can burn through in 5 or 6 hours versus months, So now I'm getting caught up, but it's like the emails are buried in there for months in the past. So I have to fix a decade of bad behavior to get back in track. But life is going to be really smooth sailing so that I can focus on the new priorities of my life, which is taking care of my family and spending time with them. I have a 1-year-old. Every day that clock is ticking. You're not going to see those big fat cheeks anymore one of these days. So just learning to embrace that and handle that. But it's not when I'm normal. It's not natural to me.
Of course
I only know one thing. I'm a very one-dimensional at this point. So now I'm learning on how to get out of that framework and get some hobbies. And start doing other stuff. This place is awesome, by the way. Might come hang out here more often.
You need to. It's so fun. Dope. So we record this podcast at Adventure Unknown. I call it an adventure or an entrepreneur hub. We do all kinds of things here. We're a travel club. You can run offices. We have charity events, which I want to talk about your charitable giving. You've been so super supportive of my endeavors throughout the years. So I want to talk about that. Yeah. But also point out that it's a journey, right? Like as I keep saying, it's not smooth sailing. And now you do have a wife and young children. And so, life is worth living, right? Like you work hard, you make your money. And this is what even to some of the entrepreneurs here, we just had a meeting last night. I'm like, based on my experience with my husband working, his whole life and then getting a terminal cancer diagnosis, you see this. People work. And then they decide they're going to live, right? They want to live once they get late 40s, early 50s, or early 40s, depending on how, how successful, how early your success comes. But truly, it's not going to mean anything if you don't take care of yourself, right? If you don't nourish your family and the things that matter, because if you get sick, you're so stressed out, you get sick and die for whatever reason, then you can't enjoy your money. So
absolutely.
Let's talk about, so we talked about your kids. Let's talk about your charitable giving too. So what's your thought process behind that?
You've been exposed to it a little bit. Yeah. I need to create like a giving program, but I'll put it this way. Back when I was with my dad every day, we would write checks, like handwritten checks. Everything was still like before we implemented software into the business. And he would make sure that the first check ever, like if it's February 1, no other bills could be paid unless the first check was to a charity. And it was just part of, and it would be based on how we did the month before. Like, so it could be $100 or $1,000 or whatever it might be, but he would kind of cherry pick the ones that are closest to his heart at that time and donate to them. So anyway, so it's always just been in my fabric, and it's part of what we do. And as a, God-fearing man, I truly, it's like, that's what makes me the highest is giving. Like if I examine, somebody were to ask me, what's the happiest you've ever been? I can tell you exactly when I know exactly where I was. And it was in Ecuador at an orphanage, or it was in Haiti with Brace for Impact's orphanage. And that it's just truly part of me. And I just get high off of that. And so it's really fun. Now we've gotten to this point where it's out of control, and the amount of requests that come in are just wild. But it's also an honor, and we can't lose sight of that people even think of us to be part of their events. So we have a few. Basically, you can't say yes to everybody. Of course not. So you have to basically cherry pick the ones that are the closest to my heart. So it's like we have to mutually agree that I have a passion for what you do, or it doesn't work anyway.
Of course.
So and everybody has something that's passionate to them. So it's just, you can't be offended by certain things that you don't seem to agree on. But in general, all these are worthy causes. And so now next year, we're going to create a giving program to where you'll apply through a portal on our website. And then that way I have an actual methodical way to review these.
Yes, and evaluate.
Yeah, and there'll be certain data points that we can use to figure out if we're a good fit for them. Like, what's the ticket cost to go to this thing? And how many people are there? What part of town is it in? Is it safe for us to go? There are a lot of events that are downtown, and they want us to bring a bunch of merchandise, and that's just not safe right now.
Correct.
So that being said, what we've chosen to do over the years is go really big with a few. And the idea is to make an actual impact with a handful of charities. And then you can sprinkle some love around other places with a piece of jewelry or a gift certificate. I pretty much say yes to gift certificates all the time. That doesn't hurt me at all. But and that generally gets a person in the door.
Yeah.
But I guess I would call it non-for-profit, for-profit. Like we can't keep doing this without the business running.
Of course.
So you try to partner with people that not only deserve it and will give as much of it to the cause as possible. I don't like charities that have, $1 million salaries and stuff like that. Like that's not my cup of tea. Not that they're not worth it. I just don't think you should be doing that with your career if you need that much money to survive. So you can work for other corporations and make that kind of money.
Certainly.
But if you're going to give, you should give all you can.
Absolutely.
And then, so now we've grown big with certain charities. And a couple of them are customers. So Ozzie Smith is one of my dad's best friends from childhood.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's like a second dad to me in some capacity. I talk to him all the time.
No way.
And he is on this mission to build a golf course for underprivileged children in the city.
Yeah.
And it's happening. Like, we've been doing this for now like 10 years.
That's
and raised
amazing.
Millions of dollars alongside him. So we just had his gala a couple of weeks ago, and now you're starting to see like the breaking the ground and all that stuff too. So that's really cool. It's called PJ Reach.
Okay.
And
PJ Reach.
yeah, I mean, anybody that's into golf, like you can't not like this. It's a really cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah.
And you get to rub elbows with really cool people. Every year he has this amazing gala. It's just grown, and it's awesome. Jackie Joyner Kersey is one of my dad's customers for many years. So she was the fastest woman on earth, and she is just, that is her whole life is giving. She has the JJK Foundation in East St. Louis. And then what is the deal with the sports players? So this is not, didn't mean to,
everybody loves sports. Are you kidding?
Kyle McClellan from the ex-Cardinals player, pitcher.
Yeah.
He has Brace for Impact 46, that's probably the closest one to my heart, because I got to go see it. And I went to the orphanage in Haiti with them, and there you can really see how lucky and how blessed you are. I feel like everybody should do that at like 16 years old before you become like a little arrogant prick at 16. That's how I should have gone. I should have gone much younger. But in general, you can see how far the dollar goes there, and how much these kids, like we have, for example, like our children here are sick. Okay. But we have parents and we have hospitals, and these kids don't have a chance. They just wake up and there's just the sun and the dirt, and there's nothing around them. They're way to go to the bathroom. You can't drink water because everyone goes to the bathroom on the soil. So fixing the whole infrastructure is not conducive to any type of success or any type of health. So that was really cool to see that you can like really, really make a big difference in their lives. And that doesn't diminish on other things. It was just something that I really like to do, because I also like to travel. So now I'm like, my end goal is to be a missionary end of the day. So I love that I could take, not necessarily 365 days a year, but if I wanted to go to Haiti because there's an earthquake, they have a beach there too. Like you can go and hang out a couple days there and live your life, but also give most of that time to the cause. So so that kind of went. That's one of the bigger ones. Like once I got to do that, we have his gala on Saturday, November 2nd. That's an awesome one. He's got so many great guys that are passionate about it. Like all the First Form dudes show up to that one. A lot of Anheuser-Busch guys, a lot of enterprise people. There's a ton of the bigger names, which you want to rub elbows with those people anyway. We all share a common mindset and have gotten to where we're at from that mindset. So it's pretty cool to be in a room together and everyone is energetic and pushing to raise money for this cause. And then yours, like who can't love that mission for Pedal for the Cause?
Thank you.
So that's one that we're going to try to go bigger with as the time goes by. And then Backstoppers is a big one for us. Like we love, it kind of goes back into with the community. These are local police, local firefighters that we could not go do our jobs any day without them anyway. People forget about that. And that when these people are hurt in the line of duty, their family is screwed, guys. Like they're not, they have to be taken care of. And I just think that just drives me nuts how they're not. So Backstoppers fills that gap. So then we have Guns and Hoses coming up with them like the day before Thanksgiving. So yeah, but that's basically it. In general, we need to have like a giving program actually established. So that's going to be one of our goals I'm working with the consultant with next year. So we can have a methodical way of doing it and then planning for the whole year. So that way I don't have these curveballs that pop up all day long and we got to get this donation and I forgot to do it. And then so yeah, it's going great. And then end of the day, gift certificates are fantastic because that ends up hopefully bringing somebody in our door that we can show about our business or, show the business and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you because you have supported me. I used to go to Mexico when I lived in California.
You see your picture in the store still?
Oh yeah.
When you were there
Don't you ever take that down.
I won't. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
I'm like young.
We got to make another one. There's a lot of collages we could put together now.
Yeah. But thank you so much because back in the day, you supported me along the way. And now with Pedal the Cause, opening a team for my husband, Kyle, in honor of him, you guys have donated to that as well. So thank you so much. And
yeah, it's my pleasure.
Really to all of you that are listening, I hope that, what is that saying? To those who have been given a lot,
to that much is given, much is expected.
Thank you. Can you say that a little bit clear?
To whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I think we're all brought to this earth to make a difference together.
Right?
Yep. And follow your passion. And I always say, I'm like, I don't need one person to, fund an entire study, but if everybody gives a little bit, right, just a little bit of what you've made to help the community around you, I just think we can move mountains. So,
very true. Everyone does their part.
Exactly. So, and I'm thankful for your giving heart.
Hey, all day. I love you. I love everything that you're about. It's always been that way. So it makes it quite easy when, it's, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, we have one of our core values is being the package deal, and it's broad, but it exemplifies what we want to be around. Exactly. And so when a person is that, it's a lot easier to give. You don't think twice when it's Kira calling. It's just one of those things that you're going to be a good ambassador of the money. It's for a good cause. So it's a nice organic fit.
I love it. Love it. And every last dollar you've donated goes right into, it went right to the orphanage to help, fix that up. It goes right into the hands of the researcher. So we really appreciate it. Now I want to talk about your store, how beautiful it is, what you guys have to offer. And then do you want to talk about what's coming?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the store is in Manchester area, right? Just west of 141. So if you're at 141 in Manchester, there's Suntrup BMW, Joey B's. There's a really cool business in between us called the Fruit and Seafood Stand. Awesome family operation. And then the Diamond Family, and then the Joey B's, which is the Giannino family, who's been customers for years. So that's really cool that we're neighbors now.
Yeah.
So we've been cleaning up our side of the block now for about 10 years. And now this little corridor of Manchester is awesome. We built the showroom. It opened April 10th of 2017. So I cannot believe it's almost 10 years old. That is crazy. But I think we're going on 8 years now. And we've pretty much outgrown it. It is crazy. Like now we're hiring, nowhere to put people. So we've got to get some more desks rearranged and stuff like that. So working on that now. We are as full service as you can get. We don't say no to much, but end of the day, it's called the Diamond Family. You park in our parking lot. We talk about that in the morning. This is not like the old store where you might have been at Deerberg's and seen a jewelry store. Like, you're driving to us for a reason. So we need to respect that. When that door opens, our goal is to treat you like family. That is the whole nature of the business for us. Is everybody has a story, and we want to be a part of that story. And if you treat somebody good, they will tell 100 of their friends, and it has worked. We probably have like 1,600 5-star reviews right now. I could cry if I start to read them. And ad agencies call, and they're like, "Who'd you pay for these? And how'd you do this? Like, this is awesome. Like, you actually have a 5, not a 4.9." I'm like, "We've just been doing it forever and asking people to do it for us." And now you have ways of automating it, but in general, people take 30 seconds out of the day.
Authentic reviews.
Yeah, it's awesome. We respond to every single one of them to this day too. So that has worked wonders for us, because then you don't have to take my word for it or my staff's, just take all the other people's word for it. All the millions of dollars people spend on ads. We don't do that. And I don't even have to bake in the formula anymore for my marketing, because we barely spend that much money. It's all done very targeted. And when I ask people, how'd you hear about us? It's somebody told me, I drove by, or I read your reviews. So it's like, awesome. Why am I spending all this money on ads then? If this can just happen on its own. So it's literally the good old fashioned way of rolling up your sleeves and just do a good job, deliver a good product, put a smile on your face, and everything else normally falls into place.
Yes.
We're not perfect, but we try to be. And we have this saying, like, the pursuit of perfection. You're never going to get to be perfect, but you can't just not try.
Absolutely.
So that's the type of people that we're surrounded with at the store. That's the type of people that greet you when you walk in the door. We are a custom powerhouse. That's kind of been our claim to fame. Is we have 4,000 rings or 4,000 items in stock, but end of the day, a lot of people want to modify stuff. So much as it drives me nuts that stuff sits there, we will make anything you want. And we don't charge for the act of making jewelry. So let's say that your ring was designed, and let's just say we took the millimeters of your stone, made that picture, and then you were in, I don't know, San Diego at a store, and you found one you liked, and you just emailed us saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I don't want this. I'll just buy this one here." You do not get a bill for those CAD files or that process. It is an intrinsically free process. But we also have a partnership with a factory that agrees to do that, because we make so much. So if we lose one or two, life goes on. best casting quality that money can buy. We pride ourselves in saying we make the best quality jewelry, and casting is the most important part of that process. We don't pride ourselves on saying we make the jewelry in the store. There are a lot of people that want to say it's all made in these four walls. I don't care about that. I would rather say this is the best quality that you can get. Making jewelry in a jewelry store is totally doable, and it can be great quality. But the casting machines that you use for those are not the ones. Ours is $250,000 for white gold, for platinum, for yellow gold, for rose. Like that's $1 million+ just of casting machines. So you don't mix the metals in a machine. And then you get the best quality casting, all the upgrades. Every year there's some new data upgrade that they're doing, software update. So now we got a hologram custom design, which you walk in, you get a little gadget. It goes on top of your phone, and then we'll email you the file, and you can hold your phone eye level and you'll see it like spinning. Okay. So end of the day, we've actually had that for years.
That's insane.
And a lot of people aren't that impressed with it. I thought it was going to be, this is the one great differentiating factor. But some people love it. Some people don't.
I want to see it next time.
I should have brought you one. I still have plenty of them, but yeah, we developed a hologram machine in China. Had a couple of them shipped over. It worked great on the first run. And then you got these little gadgets that use it for people at home use. We are a bridal store. That's our main things, is diamonds, engagement rings. So my business model is to try to get the young bridal consumer, because then we get their whole life. We have that relationship. So if you do a good job, which we always do, then they're going to come back for their bands and they'll tell their friends. And if you think about it, there is so many reasons to shop at a jewelry store. Like ours, we have everything you can think of for many different occasions. But just one person, everybody has a mom, a dad, brothers, sisters, cousins, friends, teachers, blah, blah. Like, and all of those people have Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, anniversaries, all those different occasions in life. So I like to go after the engagement ring customer. I didn't have a choice. That's what the business was when I got there, but it was the right business model for me. And then we just take care of them for 30 or 40 years, we hope, but we're also there for the bad times when things don't work out and you need to sell it. We're there too. If you want to redesign it, then it goes into the custom category. Appraisals. Right now, we can literally get a diamond from a specific mine and cut it for you, and like literally put it on your finger with a video and the images of it rough and all the signatures of who touched it along the way. Wow. So that's like a whole concierge thing we're working on. And next year, we're going to start working on having private appointments and having like going to homes for concierge appointments. And again, that's a big security thing. So I got to figure out how to navigate through that better. But that's one of those things that we'll start doing for current customers first, and then seeing if we want to market it and grow the business that way. Totally.
And I want to mention, so you walk in, it's a beautiful store and you do feel like family. I of course have known Michael for a long time, but if you're brand new, if you are looking to buy that engagement ring, or maybe you are a widow and you want to wear your wedding ring, but you want to wear it on your right hand, he can custom make it whatever you want. And you walk in and there's a bar to the right. So if you're nervous about the
lounge,
a lounge and like massage chairs, and there's anything you ever drink, there's snacks. It is a place to come and just hang out. You guys have a TV on. There's always some sports. So if you haven't been there, come check it out. The Diamond Family on Manchester.
You got it.
It's an amazing place run by amazing humans. So I encourage everybody to check it out. Anything else, Mike? What about, you want to talk about specials coming up, or?
Yeah. So Christmas is coming up. That is one of, like, this new consultant I have. He's like, well, no wonder you're stressed out. He's like, you put way more energy into this than any other owner I've ever met in my life. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know it any other way. Like, that's just, I love marketing and coming up with these ideas. And I love dishing it off to my brother, who then creates all these ads and figures out how to target it and all these different things that can fall into place. But basically, what we did for many years was called Wish for a White Christmas. We don't do it anymore because it never paid out. But basically, I would insure every single sale so that if it snowed 2 inches or more at Lambert Airport on Christmas Day, everyone would get a refund. And it came so close the first year. So I think it snowed. Well, the first year we had it was a 3-inch threshold, and that's because I can pay for the insurance premium is based on how much you want it to snow and what city that's in, and all these actuaries get in to pick the premium. but we came really close the first year. And then the final year we did it, we moved it. I wanted to say if it snows in the North Pole. So it turns out there is a city in Alaska called North Pole, and it's right by Fairbanks Alaskan Airport. So I insured 5 inches at that airport in order for me to pay the same premium that I was paying for 2 inches at Lambert, because it's way more likely to snow up there. Well, it snowed like 4.96 inches. Well, when you bought that ring December 1st, all you're remembering is that if it snows on Christmas Day in Alaska, I'm getting my money back. And that is not the truth. You've signed a piece of paper that says you understand it has to be 5 inches at this airport by the weather, by weather.gov or whatever. I can't remember now.
Were you nervous as heck?
No, well, the insurance broker is a very good friend of mine after doing this all over the years, you know, so Ken calls, he can insure anything, by the way. Like if you want to, who's going to return the kickoff in this game, or like you name it. We have all these contests we'll be rolling out for ladies night too that are fun. But basically he's like, Mike, this could be the best thing ever, or it could be the worst case scenario. Well, me and Erica were getting married shortly after that, and I'm Orthodox. So she had to get baptized to be Orthodox and couldn't do that until after Christmas. I'm like, I can't we're open all these Sundays now.
Right.
So it's going to be Sunday. And the day before he calls me and like, dude, it could be, they're saying 15 inches, but you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's 4.9 something, but right around the airport, it was 7 or 8 inches. So all these mixed readings are coming out. So then we ended up, it was not fun. I had to do like a press release and be like, I want it to happen, guys. I get the premium and I pay all these people back. It's Good Morning America. Where you would never buy jewelry anywhere else in December. Like, I really, really was hoping for it to happen. But anyway, since then, we stopped doing that. Just because now it's actually like hot in December in St. Louis too. You don't know the weather, so you're trying to tell somebody, well, it's 80 degrees outside. You know, it's literally almost 80 today right now.
80, and we're supposed to have a warmer winter.
Exactly.
This winter.
So it just doesn't fit the bill anymore.
Yeah.
So what we're doing now is in December, you're going to get a chance to win. 5 people will win $1,000, where we're just going to give them $1,000. So you'll come in, you'll scan this barcode, it'll automatically enter you in. And then in January, we'll pick the winner, and those 5 people will be invited down to get a stack of cash. And that list literally goes back to them, and then they can use it in the store for a store credit if they want to. They'll get more if they use it as a store credit,
of course,
or if they don't want to pay, do a W-9 because you got to pay tax on it. And then we're doing this other thing, which is the Safe Cracker contest. So this is really cool.
Okay, in December.
Yeah, so this is going to start, I want to say Black Friday. And it'll go up until Christmas Eve. And everybody that walks in the door will be able to type in a code into a digital safe. Inside that safe is $100,000. So if you can guess the 5-digit code, it opens and it goes, all these alarms go off. And you get $100,000, 75 cash to you, and 25,000 as a store credit to spend. So that's going to be fun. Everyone can stop by one time and play. I've done that event before, but we allowed it to be where you could come every day, hoping it would bring more traffic. And it did, but it ended up really causing staff issues and taking minutes off the floor and stuff. So customers are trying to shop while this is happening. So we're just going to limit it to 1 per person this time. Yeah. And then, you just got to be 18 and know your 5 digits. Yeah.
Come put your 5 digits in. You could win $100,000.
Yeah, I cannot wait. There's no purchase necessary for either contest. And then tons of specials. We're buying a massive amount of inventory right now. So our industry a lot of it is clout. You have to sell a lot to get the best price, basically. You know? So when you're buying in larger quantities, then you can get a better deal, which the savings can be passed along, or you can make more margin if you're that type of guy too. But in general, we pass that savings along, and then so we'll do specials on 3 carats and 2 carats and diamond studs and all that. And then we had a contest in the store this year where all the staff got to make their own jewelry, and so which one of those things sells first, there's going to be a contest for that.
Oh,
so there's
this is so
fun.
There's
a lot. So you can see like their personalities and stuff through the jewelry that they make. What else is going on?
Ladies' Night is November 7th.
Ladies' Night is Thursday, November 7th. And that's for our current. So that's one of the parties that we do for customer appreciation.
Okay.
So it's like people like you will know about that, and then you can bring your friends.
Okay, got it.
There's no guys allowed. I don't want to see guys loitering in the parking lot. There's a bunch of security guards there that will make sure that. Yeah, you'd be surprised the stuff you have to deal with. Like they'll be hanging out, like trying to pick up. It's a jewelry store. They're all married guys. Come on now.
Oh my goodness.
So for the most part, they are mostly going to hear about it because they're customers, which means they're married. So, but in general, it's a blast. These girls it's hilarious what happens, but we make it fun for them. We get a couple bartenders. There's a red carpet, tons of giveaways. We spin this wheel and you win all these different prizes. What else is going on? We have Santa at the store. So when I first had my kid, I would never forget. I hate lines. Okay. Like I'm a very patient person when it comes to relationships or certain things. But if you put me in traffic or make me wait for something, I like boil. Like I can't compose myself. Yeah. I got to work on like meditating or something.
Yeah, I know. Don't we all?
So I couldn't stand waiting in the Santa line. So I'm like,
you just hired Santa
I'm like,
yourself.
now we have this big store, babe. Like my oldest daughter was born right around that time we opened the new store. So I'm like, we'll just shop, get a Santa and see how much it costs for us to do it. It's probably the most emotional day of the year. Like you'll see an engagement ring be sold to a young couple, and then she's walking around with her belly, and then the baby's walking around the store, and now they're sitting on my couch with Santa, and we pay for your photos too. The idea is we do it in early December. And we don't slap our logo on the photo. It's not for branding our business. We want it done early so that you can go print those and make them on your own for your own family. Oh my goodness, and so we get milk and cookies and chocolates. And one year we did Christmas carolers, and it was just way too loud.
Oh gosh, I bet.
But yeah, it's a really cool vibe.
That's awesome.
I love it. Yeah, so it's a fun store. We decorate. We have the lounge is awesome. I'll never forget. My brother bought 2 massages for my birthday, and I'm like, who is going to sit in a jewelry store and get massages? Like, and then COVID, our biggest problem was sanitizing the massages. So people get some use out of that. There's a fireplace. You can grab the remote, watch TV.
My kids come and sit in the.
It's fun. Every kid gets a ring pop. That's my dad's tradition. Never forget that.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. I know. I still have my daughter's ring pop that she didn't come. I have 3 kids. I still have it saved for a time when.
Throws a fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, my sweet Leo baby. So anyway, thank you so much for coming on,
my pleasure.
Michael.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Of course. 2 last questions, then we'll wrap it up. One question is, if someone has given, or what is a piece of advice that someone has given you in your life that you think helps you get to where you are today? If you could say one thing. I know, loaded question.
Everything is your fault.
Everything is your fault.
Yeah. I read a book by, oh my God, how can I not remember? It's called Extreme Ownership. 2 like insane Navy SEALs. Sal Frisella from First Form recommended it to me. Life-changing book for me. But it taught me how to not point the finger. If you're pointing, you've got 4 pointers pointing back at you and 1 going that way. It's normally something that you can improve on yourself to fix that problem. So if it ain't your fault, make it your fault, because pointing fingers is not going to fix anything. So I learned that, 10 years ago, and that just shifted my mindset. Yeah. So mindset is everything.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the second question?
I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay, if you had one piece of advice for everybody watching, whether it be working with your family, entrepreneurship, what to do once you do make it, when you are successful, one piece of advice you'd like for the listeners to take note about.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
I know.
Okay, so I guess the whole Simon Sinek thing, like knowing your why, like if you know where you're going and why you're going there, you're gonna be able to get there. Yes. So you just examine yourself and know thyself. That's just one of those things that that was easy for me. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't have to think about that. It was just part of my life. But yeah, in general, know where you're going and
why you're
don't stop going, and know why, and give along the way. Yeah, always give back, I think, is one of my major things. I don't ever go away from that path. It's always earn and give and earn and give. And so we have what is it? Learn, earn, and return. I forgot who taught me that, but it was learn,
earn, and return.
I
love that so much. Thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you for listening. Again, go visit the Diamond Family on Manchester Road, Manchester Baldwin area. Even if you just want to go in to say hey, go on in and like, subscribe, comment, send this podcast to all your friends and family. And we'll be back next week.